Yesterday I got back from Buffalo, first Cleveland. I got to see my grandsons, and I'm looking forward to editing that video. The leaf colors were wonderful, but subdued because the sun wasn't out. Today, maybe we'll get some better leaf pictures. It's a nice shot of the valley. The leaf colors were a little brighter up in New York State yesterday, but this is going to be changing soon. I go through here all the time, so it'll be fun to have a time lapse, figuratively speaking. I guess it's a time lapse, but it's not like the fancy schmancy kind. Yeah, that's pretty nice. And the rain, it was rainy, so that kind of scrubbed the sky down near the horizon. It's never been as blue all the way out to the horizon as it was during COVID, though. Makes me wonder if humans are really necessary in this equation. Pretty sure they aren't. Miles from New York City, so I'm kind of surprised the traffic is moving so well. If you can be triggered by anything, if there's anything in your imagination or in the real world that can cause you to be afraid and react by melting down, then you're just a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. So I've been thinking about that because the cabal in my head suggests things to me. Well, what if you were presented with this scenario? Or what if somebody said this to you? Or what if they did this at work because of this thing you did? And how would you feel then? Since you just ended your employment at one place, what happens if the universe is just gonna fuck with you until there aren't any jobs left that anyone would let you do? And doesn't matter what it is. Those kinds of thoughts I know torment my mother in the middle of the night. And before her, my grandpa, her dad. I know that other people are susceptible to that. What if? What if? What if? And then we'll knock them down, maybe. Some of them will say, oh, that wouldn't bother me. Oh, I'd handle that by doing this. And we sensibly deal with everything. But there's going to be a what if that comes along. And you'll say, wow, I hope that doesn't happen because I don't know what I would do then. I would melt down. And that ain't it, kid. That ain't it, kid. We have to find not the answer to every possible problem. We have to be more than just sensibly able to deal with anything with our brain power, like a chess game where the opponent does something and then we do something and we have an answer for everything. I think we have to be able to say to ourselves that even if we don't have an answer, everything is fine. Because it doesn't really matter what happens in reality. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are if our emotions are ours to choose. We can make any horrible thing wonderful just by choosing to feel that way, like the little tailor would do. Oh, what a tremendous stroke of luck that this happened, because now, and he was just ready to celebrate any shitty thing that happened. And he turned it into something good. Every time. And if he couldn't see it at first, he waited until he could. He assumed that it wasn't because he was logically going to be able to figure it all out. He just assumed, and he never said this to any in the stories, and no one explained it this way in the stories, but he assumed that he would be able to feel okay about it. That's my interpretation. Not that he would always have the answer. And if that isn't the way it is in the stories, if that's not a reasonable interpretation, I can understand. I'm not really pushing for that interpretation, but I am saying that if that's how I want to be, my version of the little tailor, that's how I would do it. I just know already, however it looks to me, how I'm going to feel about it. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. And somehow it will turn into that because of my emotional response. And that's backwards to most people. They look at life and they say, what kind of a day is it? Well, this happened and this happened, so therefore it's awful or it's great, depending. And therefore I'm going to feel this way about it. I'm going to say to myself, wow, what a shitty day. Or what a great day. And my emotions follow the circumstances. But I have a feeling that if your emotions are driving, you're going to change your circumstances. And the people watching your life go by, especially the envious ones, they won't know what to do. They'll just say, oh, what amazing good luck she or he always seems to have. I'm not blaming anybody who hasn't figured it out. I'm not saying that everyone can just decide how to feel and then they're going to turn their life into bliss. I'm not saying that. But if I say it to myself, that's okay. If I believe it myself, and if I expect that from the universe for myself, that's okay. Because you can't tell me what to do. You might think your logical brain won't have anything to do then, but what you can use your logic to do is fit the circumstances to your emotions. That's something the little tailor did. With this belief that everything was going to be amazing, the most amazing possible way it could be because of the circumstances, he just kept looking and figuring it out until it turned out just that way. Cart or horse? Did his figuring it out make it awesome, or his assumption in advance? And I submit that it was his assumptions that made things turn out the way they did. The little tailor was great at the law of assumption. Norman Vincent Peale used to say, expect a miracle. And he got miracles. And Jesus said, if you have faith the size of a grain of mustard, or the size of a mustard seed, however it was, then you can move mountains. You can pick up a mountain, you can tell it, command it to be hurled into the sea. Imagine the tidal wave that would create. All because you expect it. And before I've talked about Harry Potter saying, expecto patronum, and if he hadn't been able to believe that it was going to happen, he couldn't have done it. And that was the power. That was why that magic was especially difficult and also powerful, because it took that kind of expectation in advance. So do try this at home. Let me know what you think about it. In advance, tell me, and then tell me how it works out. And then we can compare notes. This little corridor down here. This is near Kutztown, Pennsylvania. And it doesn't all look like this, but this little spot is really beautiful. And you have the golden leaves falling in just the right intervals. There's that, see the creek? Wow.
In 3/4 of a mile, turn left on US 222.
There's a lot of construction on US 222, so I get creative trying to avoid it. So I'm glad you got to see that.
In half a mile,